When the music came out, 96, 97, 98, the way that the angle that it came at hip hop from, I can't outdo myself, man. I could never do that shit again, like that. Video like that and stuff like that for the content that I was rhyming about at that time. I couldn't redo that. Like, and people always want you to come back harder than you were. And I don't mean harder like in just one sense, but every sense.
Now, Jermaine Williams, better known as Canibus, aka Rip the Jacker, aka Special, burst onto the hip hop scene in the mid to late 90s with a ferocious rhyme style, lyrical wordplay that was unmatched, and he would immediately be placed amongst the ranks of the top dogs in the game, the real spitters, the top shotters. Stop fucking playing with me, Uncle Nick. Let's get it poppin', right? He quickly garnered the respect and attention of his hip-hop peers and pretty much anybody with an ear for real hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? Whenever he dropped a freestyle, a new verse, son would blow your mind with some sophisticated scientific gutter shit. Homeboy had tons of quotable lines.
Canibus is the lyrical version of German engineering. Raw metaphors keep you high for months. Fly around the earth twice without refueling once. Ain't too many categories I can fit in when it comes to spitting. Cause I'm overqualified for the position. The laser guided, lyrical hybrid. Creating scripts so sick I gotta arm wrestle my pen to write it. Don't get excited, cause if I ever catch one of you wannabes biting, we're gonna be fist fighting.
And we all expected Canibus to become a big superstar, you know what I'm saying, and drop some of the illest hip-hop albums known to man. His stock was high, and we expected big things from this kid, bottom line. But unfortunately, his career would take a nasty turn and hit a major roadblock after his high-profile public beef with LL Cool J. Not to mention, his highly anticipated first album was whack. That shit was dumpster juice, bar soda, you know what I'm saying? That shit was a fucking weed tray. Wyclef's whack-ass beat selection, you know what I'm saying, didn't help the matter at all. And then the subject matter, man, that shit was a little bizarre. That shit went left, and it was questionable, man. You're like, yo, what the fuck is this unorthodox shit right here? Usually you're spitting that fire, now you're off in left field somewhere. What the fuck happened? Basically, he left the entire hip-hop community scratching our heads. Like, what the hell just happened, son? You mad talented. What is this bullshit right here? You know what I'm saying? Just like that, people would write Canibus off as a freestyle battle rapper who couldn't make a dope song or a fucking fly album, you know what I mean? So let's take a look into Canibus's life before hip-hop, his rise to stardom, his fall from grace, you know what I'm saying? Because Canibus is one of my favorite MCs of all time. I can't front, you know what I mean? He's still putting out dope music to this day. I still listen to his shit. But I'm not gonna be biased within this breakdown. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get to the nitty gritty. We're gonna do our motherfucking thing. So let's get this shit poppin'. Canibus was born December 9th, 1974 in Kingston, Jamaica. And big up to all the yardies there, you know what I mean? Bow, bow, bow. Let's get it poppin' in this motherfucker. Blood clot, you know what I'm saying? Blood, clean, rise, clot. All that fly shit. His father was a Jamaican cricketer, and his mother had a job that required them to move a lot, you know what I'm saying? So he lived in the Bronx, he lived in Buffalo, he lived in Atlanta, New Jersey, Miami, London, Washington, D.C. He lived on fucking Mars, you know what I'm saying? This motherfucker was everywhere. And he stated he was kind of an introvert growing up because he had to constantly move. He graduated from high school in 1992. He went on to work at AT&T for a year. Then he worked for the U.S. Department of Justice for another year. His interest in computers actually led him to study computer science at the DeKalb College in Atlanta. He first started rhyming in 1990 under the name Canibus Sativa. In 92, he would form a group called Them, the Heralds of Extreme Metaphor, with a rapper from Atlanta named Webb. In 1993, they recorded an 18-track demo called Lyrical Warfare. After an impressive performance at the 96 Cavern Convention, their demo tape made its way over to Group Home CEO Charles Suit. Canibus would intern at Group Home and make his way up to general manager before starting his solo career after splitting from Webb, I believe, in 96. You know what I'm saying? Charles would link Canibus up with legendary producer Frankie Cutlass, and the pair would start to work on music and all kinds of fly shit. He jumped on the Lost Boys remix Music Makes Me High, and at this point his career was fucking taking off, you know what I mean? And he gets the opportunity of a lifetime presented to him, dropped in his motherfucking lap. LL Cool J reaches out and wants him to drop a verse on this track for his new album Phenomenon 4321 with DMX, Method Man, Redman, and himself. You know what I'm saying? It was a no fucking brainer. It was gonna boost his popularity. His stock was gonna go through the fucking roof, and he was gonna be the hottest young cat in the game. Flaming shit with the motherfucking OGs, you know what I'm saying? It was all motherfucking good in the hood, so he drops the verse, but to his surprise, LL actually took offense to one of the lines in the song referencing the mic on his arm. L, is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow that. Canibus was told to change his verse, and he did so. But LL changed up his rhyme a little bit too, you know what I'm saying? And that motherfucker responded with a diss of his own on some Jedi mind trick type shit. And the symbol on my arm is off limits to challengers. You hold the rusty sword, I swing the Excalibur, biatch. If it ever left my side, it'll transform into a time bomb. You don't want to borrow that, you want to idolize. You want to make me mad, nigga. You want to socialize. So, you know, LL let him know what it was real quick. Don't ever come for my neck on a motherfucking track and fall the fuck back and do what the fuck it is that you do. You a young buck in the game. Have respect, nigga, for I have to flame your ass. You know what I'm saying? So now Canibus is totally confused and he's pissed off too, you know what I mean? Because the line wasn't meant on some dissing shit, but LL's line, on the other hand, was live and direct. But to the average fan, we didn't know exactly what was going on. It was kind of some in-house shit. But Canibus spoke on it right after the fucking shit went down, basically, with Torre.
Niggas is saying things to me like, yo, you took the niggas hard. You took the niggas hard, niggas scared. You that nigga 17. So actually, I'm like, word, niggas feel like that. You know what I'm saying? And something inside is telling me, yo, yeah. But there's something inside is saying, yo, you know what, man, just go in there and change up on your verse before you start, like, you know what I'm saying, World War III. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm ready to go to World War III. But you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, man, it wasn't about that initially.
And this shit was kind of ill because they released the track 4321 on Canibus's birthday, December 9th in 97. You know what I'm saying? That shit's a hell of a birthday gift. A hip-hop legend is dissing your motherfucking ass. He was moving on up in the game, but you know how it goes, man. As quick as you rise, it's as quick as your motherfucking fall. You know what I'm saying? So his first album drops now, and it's entitled Can I Bust? That John dropped in September of 98. And now the first single off of that motherfucker is called Second Round Knockout. And he's coming straight for LL's neck. You know what I'm saying? LL would later respond, but for the moment, David has slayed Goliath. You know what I mean? He even got Mike Tyson featured on the track, which was kind of a surprise because I thought him and LL were kind of cool behind the scenes and shit. But that shit added a hardcore element to the video. And the song within itself, it was like, oh, shit, he got Iron Mike on this motherfucker. This shit about to be crazy, you know what I'm saying? And he basically bashed LL for the fact that, you know, most of his fans are females and shit. And looking back at it now as my older self, I think that's a good thing, you know what I mean? But back then we were like, man, fuck you with all them females that follow you and shit, you know what I'm saying? Young and dumb. But he went on to talk about his alleged coke habit, him being an actor and shit, and basically how he was gonna dismantle him so bad in front of his kids and his wife that his wife was gonna have to call motherfucking Farrakhan, you know what I'm saying, to stop his lyrical destruction. It was hardcore, man. He held no punches and shit, and he threw a haymaker that landed a motherfucking solid blow. But LL wasn't going out like that. He shook that shit off and will commence to punish Canibus for his defiance, for his disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Basically, Canibus should have took the diss on 4321 as a learning lesson. You know what I'm saying? And kept it pushing. Mind your motherfucking manners. Don't disrespect the OGs. And everything will be alright in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta be yourself, but you also gotta be mindful of the way people are gonna perceive your lyrical intentions and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But LL responded on some wild shit. You know what I'm saying? He went in on Mike Tyson, called him a convicted rapist and shit. He tore Canibus' ass up. He got at Wyclef. And basically anybody involved with his fucking camp. You know what I'm saying? He called Canibus a 49-pound crackhead. He said he was homeless. And he basically tore him the fuck down, you know what I'm saying? And y'all can't forget that famous line, 99% of your fans don't exist. Never. LL was furious and he was out for blood on that one. And rightfully so. You're talking about my kids, you're talking about my wife. And I ain't having none of that shit. So the gloves were off and motherfuckers was banging. You know what I mean? And he went on to talk about, you know, draining his fucking budget for a feature or some extra shit like that. And how he was gonna blackball Canibus whether he liked it or not. You know what I'm saying? And LL would motherfucking keep his word. You know what I'm saying? So now the resentment's building up between Canibus and Wyclef, and a little beef gets sparked, you know what I'm saying? And the beef's really about the shitty production on his first motherfucking album, and the general dissatisfaction surrounding the fucking album, because people were like, yo, this shit is trash right here. Son, you was spitting mad, ridiculous, crazy motherfucking rhymes. Now you hit us with all this conscious, backwards ass bullshit. What the fuck is on your biscuit? You know what I'm saying? You must be a space cadet. We're gonna have to send your ass to the motherfucking moon. Slow it down, Uncle Nick, you know what I mean? He basically felt like Wyclef sabotaged his motherfucking project and they would wind up parting ways, you know what I'm saying? So now Canibus would release his follow-up album, 2000 BC, where he would actually address the shortcomings of his previous album. And I have to admit, I liked the fucking album. I thought it was pretty decent. I thought it was actually great. You know what I'm saying? The shit was dark. The shit was gritty, scientific, super lyrical. He was definitely out to prove the world wrong, while also accepting the reality that he was going to be stuck in a specific lane, that he would ultimately travel indefinitely, you know what I mean? And that lane would be the motherfucking underground. So he did his thing. I actually thought the album was pretty dope, but he addressed a lot of shit from the previous album and, you know, little beefs and certain shit. I think he was going at Eminem, yada, yada, yada. The shit was popping, to say the least, but he was getting a lot of shit off his chest. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now, Wyclef would actually respond and shit, you know what I'm saying, with the track called Two Sides to a Book, where he detailed basically what went wrong in a nutshell between him and Canibus. He said Canibus wasn't loyal and he got big-headed, you know what I mean? And ultimately, he detailed the direction of the motherfucking album and only had himself to blame when the shit flopped. So, you know, Wyclef felt betrayed by Canibus, but they would later squash the beef in 2004, so, you know, that was water under the bridge. And they would go on to work together. They worked on a few tracks for the Fuji reunion album, and I think they did 5 or 6 other songs on the side for Wyclef's projects or whatever the fuck he had going on. But interesting enough, Canibus wound up having beef with Eminem because people were telling him that Eminem wrote the LL diss track, The Ripper Strikes Back, and I can't front. That shit was hard than a motherfucker. He brought it to Canibus on that. He brought it to everybody on that shit. So I guess there was some animosity between him and Eminem. Well, more so on his end, because he felt like I guess, ghost wrote the shit or whatever the fuck. So he called him down to a music video and actually confronted Eminem, him and Wyclef.
I don't know if I want to get into the whole story. Like, I met him at his video shoot, like, 4 years ago, when he was just about to blow. And everyone thought he was going to be the next big thing. And
They were wrong.
they were wrong. And, yo, honestly, he was an asshole. Like, he played himself. Like, to me, like, Clef, they thought I did the LL diss record. They thought I wrote LL's response. And, like, that's why they called me down to the video shoot. And, like, Clef had asked me, did I write it? And I was like, no, I didn't write it. And and then Canibus, like, asked me separately from Clef. And I was like, dog, I'm a grown man. I'll tell you if I wrote it. I didn't write it. And he was like, yo, V, I'm not gonna say that I believe you. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust nobody in this game, and blah, 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 blah.
Canibus would eventually join the army at the age of 28 in 2004, looking for a separate definition as an individual in the world. Those are his words. Don't paraphrase me and shit. But that's the sum of it, you know what I'm saying? Opposed to the person he represented in his teens and as an MC. But he was later discharged from the army when he was caught smoking marijuana. Motherfucker had to get high and shit. And some fuck these nuclear warheads and shit. Gotta smoke me a L. And they said, bounce for the ounce, motherfucker. But Canibus wouldn't just sit on his ass and smoke a bunch of weed on the couch and reminisce about the old days. He got the motherfucking work. And son's been working his ass off since 2001. Between 2001 and 2019, he's dropped about 16 projects in total, you know what I'm saying, that truly accent the development and the growth of the esoteric MC's journey into manhood, you know what I'm saying, into enlightenment and shit like that. And Canibus would actually squash the beef later on with LL on Christmas Day in Brooklyn back in 2017. I guess it's never too late to make amends, you know what I'm saying? But his career fucking suffered something serious behind that goddamn beef, you know what I'm saying? That shit crushed his motherfucking world. I would leave one to think, man, what the fuck would this guy's career have been like without the actual beef with LL that ultimately blackballed him from the industry? He says he wasn't blackballed, you know what I mean? But I ain't stupid, motherfucker. I was born at night, but not motherfucking last night, you know what I'm saying?
To say that I was blackballed would mean that somebody did it. And then if you say somebody did it, who did it? Like, it would have to be somebody powerful. Because, yo, I've been spitting like a maniac for a decade, so it would have to be something real powerful.
But Canibus will go on to have a pretty fruitful career within the underground, you know what I'm saying? He sold a lot of fucking records. He's made millions of dollars and shit. He ain't bitching, he ain't complaining, he ain't borrowing nothing to my knowledge, you know what I mean? And he's out there handling his BI like a man and shit. So, you know, he was still able to do his thing, represent, and spit them raw-ass motherfucking rhymes and put together some pretty eclectic projects for us hip-hop heads, you know what I mean? But back in 2012, he kind of played himself, you know what I'm saying? He went and wanted to get involved in battle rap, you know what I'm saying? With this West Coast battle rapper named Disaster. They did the King of the Dot over there in LA, and that shit didn't go over well, son, you know what I'm saying? He did pretty good through the first 2 rounds and shit, but in the 3rd round, nigga forgot his verse halfway through with some shit. Nigga pulled out a notebook with like 30 pages. You heard me. 30 pages full of motherfucking rhymes and shit. Talk about, y'all want to spit all these rhymes. Get the fuck up out of here. That shit ain't helped the situation.
Y'all came here to listen to rhymes, right? Yeah! Shit, all right? All right? Let me spit my shit. Fuck that!
You forgot your rhymes, you lost, motherfucker. It was basically an embarrassing moment for the hip-hop legend that specialized in battling and freestyling, you know what I mean? But he showed great sportsmanship, you know what I'm saying? He admitted defeat, but the writing was kind of on the wall at that point. Canibus was no longer in his prime or as invincible as we once thought the mighty MC was. It was kind of some amateur hour shit, I must admit. But to his defense, he was battling with like a broken shoulder or something like that. That needed to be rehabbed, you know what I'm saying? For whatever the fuck that's worth, you know what I mean? He would later respond on Facebook saying, sometimes people need laughter and entertainment at the expense of another's embarrassment, but hip-hop means so much to me that I don't even care, you know what I'm saying? And basically after this, Canibus would stay at the spotlight pretty much. He kept a low profile. He was creeping on the come up on some other shit, but he wasn't trying to be in the public with it, you know what I'm saying? But 2019, he was actually inducted into DC's Hip Hop Museum, so we got to see him up on stage doing a few things, you know what I'm saying, out of his element, I guess, performing on stage and doing whatever the fuck he does, you know what I mean? And it was good to see the people appreciating the man for the hard work that he's put into motherfucking hip hop, and him being acknowledged as a nasty ass motherfucking MC, you know what I'm saying? Canibus is definitely a legend, and he's worked with the best, you know what I mean? Keith Murray, Capadonna, Planet Asia, Razkaz, Killer Priest, the motherfucking list goes on, you know what I mean? But everybody's got their own path in life, and everybody's path is unique, you know what I'm saying? Some things don't always go as planned, but you've got to enjoy the ride along the way, you know what I mean? Canibus is an extremely talented MC, and I hope he continues to work on new shit, you know what I'm saying, and drops dope shit for the masses, for all the underground hip-hop heads and shit, you know what I mean? He might have not reached the top of the charts, he might have not reached the same heights as his peers, but he's definitely going down in history as a top-tier MC. It's fucked up, but everybody doesn't get a fair shake. People are fickle, and people are always gonna go with what's more popular, you know what I'm saying? So the LL beef definitely hurt his career, and you should be careful who you beef with. You don't wanna piss powerful people off. But that's the Canibus story right there from beginning to end. I hope you motherfuckers enjoyed this shit, and I'm out this motherfucker!
You know, what justice is there now with this camera? Like, it can't be artistic justice, because I don't think the people that's watching this can do a fucking thing about it. You know what I'm saying? About my life and what, so why am I talking to you and telling you that shit? You can't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say that I was blackballed.